Getting ready to buy your first home can feel very intimidating. Maybe you don't know where to start, you don't understand the process, or you've heard from your friends about all these multiple offers and bidding wars, which is why I'm creating this video where I'm going to take you on a step-by-step process that I take all of my first-time home buyers on. If you're new to the channel, my name is Demetres Giannitsos with eXp Realty. I'm a top producing agent here in the city of Toronto, helping buyers, sellers, and investors achieve their real estate goals. If you like this type of content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any new content like this. And if you want to book a buyer or seller consultation, I have left a Calendly link down in the description below where you can book a one-on-one call with myself. With that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, you've saved up some money and you want to start entertaining the idea of buying your first home and you want to know where to start. I'm going to tell you right now that step one is to reach out to a trusted real estate professional. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I don't want to reach out to a real estate professional yet. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I have everything in order and I don't want to waste anyone's time. But I'm telling you, as a realtor myself, that I have these conversations every single day with people. And sometimes they're in a position where they're ready to buy and sometimes they're not. And in that case, we come up with a plan to get you there. But the very first thing you should be doing is getting on some sort of a buyer consultation with your trusted agent. Understand that your realtor will be the quarterback for this entire process, and they should already have a list of trusted vendors, mortgage brokers, lawyers, home inspectors, all that kind of stuff that they can direct you to in order to make this process happen seamlessly. Now, some of you may reach out to your lenders first, and that's totally fine. But like I said, it's very important, especially with the market that we're in, that this is a well-oiled machine, which is why I recommend going to your realtor first, as they have their preferred lenders that they already have relationships with, that they can reach, in the middle of the night because they've done a handful of deals together, rather than trying to connect a bunch of contacts that don't know each other yet. So most of my first-time buyers go into my Calendly link and they book a buyer consultation one-on-one with me where I really understand what's important to them, what they're looking for, get a grasp on their finances, and we come up with a plan. This takes us into step number 2, which is getting yourself pre-approved. Now, depending on how the conversation goes in the buyer consultation, if we feel like we are ready to purchase a home, that is when your realtor should connect you with a trusted lender. The lender is going to look over your finances in better detail, and they are going to give you a pre-approval, which is basically an amount of money that we are able to purchase a home with. This step is crucial in setting expectations, because the last thing you want to do is start looking at a home that's maybe worth $1 million when we're really only approved for $850, and then going back from $1 million to $850 is going to seem very, very difficult. So we want to know what our number is right off the bat, so then that way we can set up our search criteria and look at properties that we are actually able to purchase. Step number 3, start our search online. Okay, at this point, I would normally reach out to my buyer clients and we would discuss the number that we got pre-approved for from the mortgage broker. We're also going to go over location, the size of home, the type of home, all the types of things that are important to you as a buyer, and we are going to look at that with the number that we were approved for, and we are going to see what is available online. This is where a realtor will typically set you up on some sort of a prospect search. So we're basically going to take your criteria. This could be your location, the amount of bedrooms you need, the style of home, and we can put that into our system so that way anytime a new property hits the market, it will get emailed to you directly. This takes us to step 4, showings. Once we feel like we have a very good idea of a few neighborhoods that we're looking at and its style of home, what I like to do is book our very first showing day. Now, my style in our showing day, we go look at as many homes as humanly possible. Usually this lands on a day where both parties are free, and we will go hammer out, 10 to 15 properties in a single day. I like to do this for a few reasons. I like to do it because I feel like this is the best way to get us moving forward and actually make progress. I feel like when we go check out 2 this day, 1 next week, and then 3 the week after, it's really hard to create reference points in our minds as to, oh, I didn't like that, but I like this, where when we hammer it all out in one day, we can literally look back and say, okay, the second house I didn't like, third house I didn't like, fifth house I loved. And usually after this showing day, although it is a big day, we have a very good idea of what we are looking for. And it's important that you keep in mind, especially here in Toronto right now, the market is continuously going up. So if this search takes you 6 months, properties that you started looking at 6 months ago have gone up in value likely 50 grand or more in the amount of time it's taken you to buy. So if you can find your dream home quicker, you will actually get it for cheaper versus, taking a longer time to buy your home. And that's exactly why I like to show a lot of homes in a shorter amount of time. I'd rather compress that work into a shorter time frame rather than dragging it out for a very long time and costing you more money. And obviously, there's no timelines on these types of things. Sometimes it does take months and months for the perfect home to hit the market for you. But if you are very sure of what you want and it is there after we've looked at 10 or 15 homes, I would suggest getting it earlier rather than paying more for it later. Okay, so we've hammered out a bunch of showings and we've found the perfect home. Now we are on step 5, and that is offers. One really important concept that you need to understand as you prepare your offer is conditions. I want you to think of a condition as an exit strategy to the contract. For example, let's say we find the perfect home, we get it under contract for $850,000, but it is conditional on a home inspection, which basically means we have 2 or 3 days, whatever we agree upon, to have a home inspector come in, look at the home, assess it, and if for whatever reason we find out that the roof is leaking or the basement floods and we don't want to buy the home anymore, we can simply use our condition and get out of that agreement. We get our deposit back and it's like it never happened. Conditions are extremely important, especially in Toronto, because the market is so hot and we're dealing with multiple offers. It is very difficult to land a home with any conditions. Now, I know this can seem a little scary as a consumer. Oh my God, we're not going to get a home inspection, or we're not going to look over the status certificate for a condo. But this is where it really falls on your real estate agent to be organized, quick, and professional. What I do is, let's say for example, the home just hit the market and they're taking offers a week later. This is when we are going to bring in a home inspector before we offer on the property rather than after. So basically we are going to satisfy our conditions before offer night rather than trying to do it after. By doing this, we will have a competitive edge when it comes to dealing with competing offers, and we don't take on any unnecessary risk because we've simply just done everything beforehand. Similarly for condos, we always look over the status certificate, which is basically the stack of documents that pertains to a particular condominium unit. It will go over finances of the building, bylaws, rules, everything you need to know before buying that condo. Now, we would typically get that reviewed by a lawyer as a condition on status certificate review, but when we're dealing with multiple offers, we would actually have the lawyer look at it before we offer on the property. Another thing that we need to note about getting our offer prepared is that we need to have a deposit of minimum 5% of the purchase price ready to go. If we are in a multiple offer scenario, we will likely submit the offer with the deposit in hand. If we are negotiating one-on-one traditionally, then we need to give them the 5% deposit within 24 hours of an accepted offer. I say this because this is where it's really, really important to make sure that you have that 5% in a checking account ready to go. Many agents forget to mention this to their clients, and they will find themselves in a situation where they've offered on a property and then they realize that the 5% deposit that they have in the bank is locked in a GIC, or maybe it's tied up in stocks and bonds, and it will take 3 to 5 business days to get out. And I've actually seen scenarios where people have lost offers because they did not have a deposit ready to go. So keep in mind, if you're ready to buy a home and you're ready to put down offers, that you should have a minimum of 5% in a checking account that you can get readily available within 24 hours. The rest of the offer process is extremely straightforward. Your real estate agent is going to guide you. They're going to give you all the terms and conditions and put them in the offer, and they should review the entire offer with you before submitting it so you know exactly what you're signing and why you're signing it. Once we get a signed agreement, that takes us to step number 6, which is condition removal. Now, like I said earlier, if you ran into multiple offer scenario and you satisfied your conditions beforehand, you went unconditional, you can skip this step. But if you do have conditions, now you have 2 or 3 days or whatever you agreed upon to satisfy your conditions. So basically you have 2 or 3 days to bring in a home inspector and check out the home, or have a lawyer look over the status certificate and review it. Once you are satisfied with your condition, You send in a waiver basically saying that I'm happy with the home inspection, I'm happy with the status certificate, whatever the case may be. At that point, the deal is now firm and your deposit is locked into the lawyer's trust account where it will be given to the seller on closing. If you decide that the home inspection is not to your liking or you don't want to proceed with the transaction before the condition removal date, then you can tell them that you're not waiving conditions, you get your deposit back in full without penalty, and you can continue on your search as if it never happened. So assuming that we have a firm deal, we have a signed agreement, and we're committed to the property, that takes us to step number 7, which is contract to close. In this step, there's not a whole lot to do. Maybe you've set a 30-day closing period or a 60-day closing period, which is very, very typical. In these days, I always put in my agreements that we have 2 purchaser visits, at which point we are allowed to revisit the property. Usually the first visit is to look at the home because, it's nice and expensive and you bought it. Maybe take measurements, bring family, friends so that they can take a look at it, whatever you want to do. But the last purchaser visit, I always save for a few days before closing. And on this visit, we always go in and we check out all the appliances, we test all the lights, we make sure that everything in the home is in working order, because likely in your agreement, you should have warranties saying that, they warrant that the stove, the fridge, the microwave will be in working order upon closing. If we find something that isn't working before closing, we will bring it up to the seller before we close, because once they have our money, it is very difficult to get any sort of compensation for it. So assuming everything is good to go, that's going to take us into step number 8, which is closing day, or otherwise known as possession day. This is basically the day that you get to move in. This is also the day that the funds are transferred from your bank to the sellers, and they get their money, you get your keys, and you get to officially become homeowners. So I hope that helps remove some of the stress and the questions around the process that you're about to go on. Like I said, one of the most important things is to pick a real estate agent that you trust, that has a network of people to help guide you and quarterback you through the entire process seamlessly. There is a Calendly link down below in the description where you can book a one-on-one buyer consultation with myself, and we can get this process started for you. With that being said, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.